before. Cause I'm restless and I'm dying to know more. Show me something I haven't seen before. Cause I'm tired of the same boats, the same shore. It's time, my friend, to leave this hell behind us. We got everything we need to make a change. I can't keep pretending I'm right where I wanna be. I'm hopelessly in need of better days. Cause I'm too young to face the end, but I'm old enough to start again. And I still got time. The world has tried to pin me down, but I'm running at the speed of light. And I still got time. Still got time. Give me something worth fighting for. Cause my heartbeat has been silent for too long. Tell me one thing, are you happy, are you satisfied? I know that you know when you're done. It's time, my friend, to leave this hell behind us. We got everything we need to make a change.
Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto here again with episode 21 of my trading journals. We're going to get straight into it. This is for the trading session from the night of the 16th and morning of the 17th of August 2022, and it's Chappie's Crypto here sharing my trading journal as I try to double my demo account. Started with an account balance of $10,000 in Tradeovate of a demo account, and one of my goals is to double that account. So traveling pretty well. This week's been pretty good so far, so my balance is at this point. I am watching the Inner Circle Trader YouTube mentorship series for 2022, and that's what I'm trying to apply his trading techniques to my trading. And as I said, I've just watched one of the recent episodes I've just rewatched. Took a bit of a humble pill here and not overly focused on the profitability necessarily, although we want to make sure I've got profitable trades. The key is just making sure I'm getting consistently taking good trades that are favorable to my longer term position. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to quickly put up the goals I've set for myself just to keep everyone on the loop here and keep myself accountable to this. Let's have a quick squiz here. Not that one, sorry. It is, where did I put the goals? Let's just get those live, just be 2 seconds. And here's my goals. So goal 1, save $10,000 in real cash for my initial account balance. I'm actually up about $2,500 with that. Double my demo account and rewatch the ICT mentorship series. So I'm up to about episode 20, about halfway through rewatching those. So traveling pretty well. So this is my record from last night's session. So we had a total profit of $144. Took a total of 2 trades. So much more patient last night, and I'll go over those in a moment. And a 50% profitability. So 1 loser, 1 winner, and the percentage win on the profitable trade. $210 profit on one of the trades, the winner, and $60 loss. So pretty happy with those ratios. Obviously, one of the things I will contemplate as I get more and more consistent is the percentage of my total account that I place into a trade. But yeah, super happy with that result from last night. So let's have a look. This is the daily time frame on this is the futures contract that I trade, which is the micro E-mini Nasdaq 100 index futures September 2022 contract. That's what we're currently trading, and this is the daily chart. So obviously when you look at this candle there wouldn't be showing last night. And actually if you watch the video I put up yesterday and I talked about my setup for the next day, I did actually identify this, and I actually called the market right, which was really nice. So it's good to get a bit of affirmation. This is a fair value gap that obviously has been closed out or covered over the last day or two. This is a possible target, and we've obviously got this liquidity zones up here. So still long bias. Interestingly though, we've covered this area, so I did predict that we might have done this yesterday, and we'll go down to lower time frame to see what actually happened here. So let's go down now to the 1 hour chart. I've turned off my drawings, so you don't see any of the markings that I placed on my chart, which I will turn on in a minute. The reason I was looking at the 1 hour chart is just to identify if there's any particular points of interest on the 1 hour. So remembering that this was last night's session, so I didn't see any of this before I was looking. I did notice this fair value gap got covered in the overnight, so that wasn't too much point of interest. We've got this liquidity zones down here, so interestingly you'll see that price actually came down to that, and we've got this liquidity zone up here, so price went up and took that in that session last night. Let's go down and see what the setup might have been on the 15-minute. And one of the things I do on the 15-minute is to mark out the previous high and previous low of the I suppose range movements before this market open at 8:30. So for me, this was a point of interest here, there. So I'd mark that out, and we've got this level here. So if price broke either one of those two levels, I was going to take particular interest in what happens. I did do my very first trade. I over traded slightly, and I'll actually get into the 3-minute, and I'll actually show you what I saw. And the reason I took my first trade, on retrospect, not really a great decision, but I'll own it. And let's just turn on the drawings here so we can see where I took that position. What I did here is I noted that price actually had, and this is just a classic overtrade. So here's the zone that I was looking, or one of the areas. We've also got this areas here, but the price had actually broken down below this area. I saw a shift up. Saw a very slight market structure shift, not really that strong. Tiny fair value gap here, and I took a long position there because I did have the bias that we're heading in that direction. Unfortunately, I placed my stop just here. Unfortunately, got stopped out fairly quickly within 10 minutes or so, and took the very first, and this was on the 3-minute. I actually took that trade on the 3-minute time frame. I suppose on retrospect, the only thing on reflection is that this really wasn't a strong enough move. If I think through what would I need to look for a little bit more, so probably would have been nice to see a bit more of a solid market structure break. There, I suppose technically you could argue that's one, but that wasn't really strong. So really, I probably should have waited to see something like this, and then a really strong move up, and then like for a fair value gap. But it's okay. I took a hit on that first one. So price actually went really strong, broke down, well and truly broke through the base here of the previous range overnight. So I was just sat patiently waiting for a market structure shift, and I'll even go into the 1 minute just to show you. I had to have an enormous amount of patience last night. I was pretty proud of myself that I didn't jump in too early, excluding that very first trade, but it actually paid off brilliantly, so I was super happy. And in retrospect, if I should have really just trusted my setup, because the price actually went to a really strong and high position. So check out this. This in my opinion is almost textbook ICT. So price is doing this. It's coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down, and then we get this change of character, or there's a shift in market. So got a nice little bump here, and then this here is your market structure shift. So that's nice strong candle coming out of the base of this. It's a nice big strong candle. So what I'm doing now here is I'm literally waiting for this. So this is your fair value gap, just there, and I'm waiting for price to return down to that level. You'll also notice here, if you look really fine detail, you got another little fair value gap just here. So for me, if price came down to either one of these two areas, I'm going to take a long position. So I actually had a long I placed a long order there for a buy, and it's really nice to see I got a really good buy there. Price actually started to move again. It did return back to my original position. I actually placed my stop down at this level. Took 2 contracts only. The reason I took 2 is when I put this into Tradeovate, or when I put it to trading to set up my trade. I'll just show you one really cool thing on TradingView that you can do if you've got your TradingView connected through here. I'll just quickly connect trade. Actually, I'll close out of this. My account only lets me have one active connection, so I'll just open up Tradeovate here. I'll make that connection here. Come on. just be 2 seconds as I get this happening. Why is it not doing that? No, don't worry about it. I'll show you in another stream. But long story short, when you go to place a trade here, of course it's going to ask me to log into my broker, which I don't know why that's not happening. I'll have to quit out of, I'll just quickly quit out of trading view, and we'll come back into it. Apologize for technical difficulties here. That's all right. We'll be back into it. I might just go full screen here. And this is just to show you that this is legit. It's actually remembering my login. So that's, there you go. In the trading panel, I'm actually now connected to my TradeOvat account. That's my current balance. And that's the demo account, remember. And so if we go right back here, what I wanted to show you was this. It's just a really cool feature. If you're trying, one of the key things, and I've watched lots of different traders, and I'm trying to learn from people that are experienced. Risk management is one of the core skills to develop and learn, and something I've traditionally not been super good at. So I've committed to myself that I don't want to risk any more than 1 to 1.5% of my total account, maybe 2 at a possible strong setup. After last week, I got a little bit went over the top and actually took too many big risks, and obviously took a hit on the account. And so what I was doing here when I was considering how many contracts to use here on this particular long, so price had actually done this. So as price is moving up here, what I did is actually on TradingView, if you right click here, if you right click on a particular price level, and come down to here where it says trade and create a new order, what it does is it automatically will fill in the price here with the price where your cursor was when you actually right clicked. And so it's automatically picked up that price, which is exactly where I want my limit orders to be placed. And it'll default to limit. So that pre-populates it with the price I want. And if I tick stop loss, what I do then is I put my cursor down in the area where I'd like my stop loss to be. So over the right hand side, you can see just over here that I wanted my stop loss to be at around 13,525. And so I'll just type in here 13,525. And you'll see here it'll automatically work out how much you're risking in that position based on the fact that I've got 2 contracts. So if you're willing to say risk say $200, if I put in 3, auto calculates 177. If I put in 4, no, for me it's too much. That's too much. So I'll go back to 3 contracts, and you just adjust this level to get it just the right size of how much you're willing to risk on that particular trade, and then press buy to enter the limit order. Now, because I'm doing this as the price is coming out this way, there's no guarantee that's going to execute, because if price doesn't return down to this fair value gap, that would be an order that doesn't get filled. But for me, I'm finding this is actually an extremely useful tool just to manage the size of my trades to ensure I manage my risk really effectively. That's exactly what I did last night. So I was messing around with, do I do 3 or 4 contracts? I just made a decision, you know what, if I got it wrong, I don't want to risk, because price had moved down here pretty aggressively over a period of time. I was somewhat confident that this was a change in character and we're possibly going to go this direction. I did call it right, which is great, but I wasn't willing to risk more than 2 contracts. So that's how I worked out the size of that particular order. Now, how do I work out what my target was? Why did I take out a trade at that point? Well, what I did was quite simple, and it's one of the things I've been learning from watching the ICT videos. On reflection, one of the things I need to get better at possibly is to just take 1 contract out. If I've got a 2 contract order, maybe just take 1 at my first target and then leave 1 to ride, and just, yeah, anyway, I'll explain what I mean by that. So I used to work out my own first target, Fibonacci tool, a Fib Retracement Tool. On the ICT trading or mentorship 2022 video series, he goes through and explains how to set up his Fib tool, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So if I've selected the Fib retracement, I'm going to go from the top of the range to the bottom of the range. Where's the 50 level, which is here, so the 0.5, which just happens to be here. So I'm looking for the next, I suppose, liquidity, or the pull on liquidity here. So for me, that's a really interesting price point. And so if price comes up to here, and I actually place my stop just above that, and it came up, hit it without really much retracement. Besides this first little drop down, it just moved I suppose on retrospect, and what I've actually seen this, and it's happened plenty of times now. I've been trading this system for close to 4 weeks now. I've seen this happen so many times where price does come this, we get this little move, comes up, he hits the 50 level, and then starts to retrace back down. So I wanted to lock that in. I took the full position out. I'm happy with that. Good $210 profit on that particular trade. Pretty low risk, and just, textbook ICT in my opinion. However, in retrospect, maybe one thing I could have done on this trade is to take a partial, so take one out there, move at that point, maybe move my stop loss to just above my entry, and then just see if we can reach for this target. Maybe this would have been a good target to reach for. Pretty obvious spot, just below that's the price at midnight. So yeah, maybe that was a better target to pull for. And I could have taken another one out there, and I would have really substantially made that a much bigger profitable trade. However, profit's profit. Never complain about getting money in your account, particularly what I'm doing. So pretty stoked with how that trade went. So just some little tricks or just showing you how I'm applying these techniques. If you wanted to see how you do the settings that ICT talks about, once you've drawn the Fib Retracement Tool onto your chart, if you double click on the chart or the Fib Retracement Tool itself on your chart, you've got all these settings here. So these are effectively the settings that Michael from ICT, I've copied it directly from his videos and I've transposed them onto my chart. I've messed around with the colors a little bit. I'm still not quite 100% happy with how it looks. But yeah, that's how I've been using the tool. And it's literally just, all I care about is from the top to the bottom, where's halfway point. And that's as complex as I'm using that tool. So there you go. I'll just delete that again. Yeah, that's my review. So what's going to happen tonight? I have no idea. Let's have a quick look, and we'll just go to the daily chart again, and I'll just show you what I do to set up my session that will be coming up tonight. I have marked out in a previous session this levels. So there's a fair value gap, pretty substantial fair value gap here. I'll be really interested to see if price draws into this. So that's the bottom of that range and the top of that range. I've just left that on, so when I get into trading in my session and zoom right into lower time frames, I'll just know that that's something that price may get pulled to. I'm not sure what price is going to do tonight. I'll be really honest about that. I'll just draw this. If we bring this Fib Retracement Tool here and drag it down to this full range, we're well and truly in a premium market at the moment. So from bottom to top, or top to bottom, that's a halfway point. So anything down here is trading in a discount. So we are expecting price to get drawn into the premium area. At the moment, I'm not super confident. So I'm very much 50-50 at the moment what price is going to do, because it may retrace down here a bit before it starts to move up again, but I'm really not that confident with what's going to happen. Pretty confident it was going to take this, which is done. Not as confident we're going to pull this out. However, we'll keep an eye on it tonight. But this is definitely an area that I think we may get to over the next week or two. But will we get there tonight? Not sure. So what will my bias see tonight? Well, to be honest, I'm just going to be sitting on a 50-50. I'll be led a little bit by what I see at the price movement, and I'll try and stay really focused on the on that 15-minute time frame and look at the highs and lows before market open at 8:30. I'm just going to delete that because we no longer need that one there. And I'll just quickly draw on my chart this little trend line which I like to draw. So this is the price at midnight drawn out to the end of the session, and I put the day of the week. So if you zoom right in here, let's use the zoom tool, you'll see I put it on that Tuesday. It's not that here nor there. It's just one little thing that I like to do. I saw ICT do that on one of his videos, not this exact way, but he marks the price at midnight and then just pays attention to the price at market open. I like that because I'm just getting a feel for how price responds to that level. So all I do on Trading View is I click on that, I copy it, so Command C on a Mac, and I come across here and I just paste it again, and then I drag it and line it up and down the bottom there you'll see the price shifting, which shows you the start of the time frame. So I'm going to go along until I hit the midnight, and then I'll drag a price down to match up to the opening price of that candle, and then I'll even go down to the 1 minute time frame to make sure I've lined it up really, really well. And let's have a look to make sure we've got this lined up nicely. There you go. So look, that's actually perfect. So that's the price at midnight, exactly at the market or the price at open of that candle, and that's the price at midnight. So interestingly enough, when I look at this, the prices actually had in the overnight markets had a fair big dump in the overnight. So we've got this, and then boom. So I won't be overly surprised if we see price start to trend back up as we get close to market open. Let's go back to the 15-minute for 2 seconds just to see what we're seeing here. I'll just quickly make sure I type in Wednesday so we know this is Wednesday session we're about to come into. It'll be very interesting to see if the price draws down here and takes out that little draw on price. So that's a definite target. Price may come right down here, break this level, and let's zoom out a little bit more and see we've got this as well. So that's, I might actually just draw that in the chart here. So I'll just make me mark it at that point. So Command H, there we go. And I might just mark the bottom of that as well. Just the reason I do that is when I start to zoom in, I don't see the left part of the chart, but those lines just remind me that there's a point of interest. Because it's obviously seen easily on the 15-minute, but if I go down to the 1 minute as an example, you're not seeing the left part of the chart. So I like to just have that. So I pay attention when price gets down here. So if I'm watching this, and say for instance we were at 8:30 and the market's opened, I'm not going to do too much because we're pretty close to this level, and I would expect that price will come down here and take that. If we do come down here and take this after 8:30, and then I see a change of structure, or sorry, a change in character, because at the moment price is doing this. We've got lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low. So because of that, this, what I'm looking for is, will we see a higher high and a higher low? If we see that, then we've got a change in character. And if that happens either after this or after this line, it's more significant based on what I've been learning than something that happens just in this region here. So yeah, I'd love to see the price come down here, particularly around that 8:30 time frame. And then there might be setup. Interesting to see what's happening here. So if price comes up here, that'll be interesting. Anyway, there you go. That's my setup for today. My bias will effectively be wait and see what happens at these points. If we come down here, I would expect price to head that direction. So that's my I suppose thesis of where I see price going in the session coming up. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Enjoy your trading journey if you are trading. I hope you're enjoying these little trading journal videos that I've been doing. And this is Chappie's Crypto signing out for episode 21. And until next time, bye for now.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.